Hi everybody, this is Deb at Color Everywhere, and today I am going to do a pre-process video regarding the Time for Art hop on Friday the 13th of August, and the subject is dolls, art dolls, and I was pretty excited to hear that. This will be my first time at the hop. And dolls are something I really enjoy making, although I haven't made any for quite some time. So I was excited when I heard that, and it took me a while to decide what kind of doll I was going to make. And I finally decided I was just going to go all out and just make a doll, make a big doll. So the girl I've been working on is soft sculptured face. She has jointed limbs at the hips and the shoulders, and her clothing will be attached, so it'll be stitched onto her body. Her face is soft sculptured. Most of the dolls I've made in the past have been witches or old ladies or things like that. I've never really tried to make a pretty sculptured face doll. And I've had this pattern for quite some time, and I also have several doll books, sculpture doll books that I pulled out of my library. So I got some ideas from that, but I knew I wanted to use this particular pattern. And it's very similar to one that is in this book, which this book is Soft Dolls and Animals, and it's from April, May of 2000. And this doll's face is fairly attractive for a soft sculpture face. And normally I use pantyhose, and it's very stretchy, so it's very easy to shape it the way you want it to be shaped. This time I'm using a fabric that is like leotards are made out of. It stretches in every direction, but it's obviously thicker than pantyhose. But it doesn't run. So it's a little bit more of a challenge because it's a stiffer fabric, and it's a little bit harder to pull the stuffing up and make the shapes like you want to make it. So I've already started on the doll because it is a long process, and I couldn't do it all. Our hop times are 30 minutes. I couldn't do it all in 30 minutes. So I wanted to go ahead and get a lot of it done, and then just show some particular things. So at this point, I'm going to show you her face, and I'm trying to decide if I want to do a new face. I'm going to show you how the doll is constructed or cut out and what have you. I sew it by hand, so it takes a while to do all the pieces by hand. And I mostly just wanted you to see her, see how she's looking at the beginning, well, about halfway through, really. And I'm trying to decide whether I want to change her head or not, because I think her face could be a lot prettier. Something, I don't want to copy this, but something more like this, you'll see what I'm saying. I'm going to show you the two of them together. So here's her face. Her eyes are fine. Let me see if you can see this. I like her eyes. They look great. She's got little eyelashes and eyebrows. Her nose is a little small. Her mouth and her chin I'm not happy with. Now look at it from the side. She looks like somebody smashed her face. So I can easily change her head out because I've not done the wig or anything like that yet. And you see all these bumps back here because that's where the thread has been sewn through in order to pull up the contours on the front of the face. So I'm still trying to decide. She's going to be a fairy, so she doesn't have to be, she can look a little odd, but I'd rather her face be, her chin be a little bit, and her mouth be a little bit better than that. I could live with the nose. The eyes I like really well. So I don't know. I'm kind of up in the air about how to, to change her face or not. So we'll see about that. But like I said, she has jointed arms inside, and I can't show you because this is stitched on, and she also has jointed hips right here. It goes all the way through, and then her legs can move this way. I did not form the knees or the elbows because I knew they were going to be covered, and it wouldn't make that much difference. I do need to sew her fingers, stitch her fingers still. And the things I really have left to do on her is decide about her face, make her wig, make her hat, make her necklace, make her she's going to have some little steampunky looking gloves on. I've already started the rest of her costume. It's going to be like an open cut ruffled skirt type of thing, and she's going to have a red corset belt. I want to put boots on her. She's very tall. She's 22 inches. You can see how tall she is. She's 22 inches tall, so she's really tall and long. But I want to put boots on her, but I don't want to hide the socks because I really like the socks. So I'm trying to decide whether I want boots, and I do have some leather. I could actually make some leather boots, or if I want to make a shorter type shoe for her to wear. I'm still leaning towards the boots. I guess they could be like short boots that lace up. And that's probably what I'll end up doing, because then at least you'd still be able to see some of her socks. But so this is how far she is. So I have boots or shoes to make, gloves, hat, corset, necklace, finish her fingers, finish her clothes, and then she'll be done. I really like the body, the way the body's turned out, and her clothes are going to be very neat. The skirt part has 3 layers, different colors, and with the red corset, I think it'll really look snazzy. So I'm pretty tickled with that part. I'm just still trying to decide about her face. I guess I could put a mask on her and you wouldn't be able to see that part of her face. But yeah. And then I have to decide if I'm going to stand her up on a stand, or if she's going to be posed, you know, because she could have quite a few different poses, you know. The other thing I've been thinking is I have this rabbit, a tall rabbit. He's at least probably about as tall as she is, and he would be the perfect size for her to sit on, like she's riding him. So I don't know. I'm not sure about that yet either. So there's a few things, you know, I still have to do. But what I want to do right now is show you how I got to this point. At least the pieces and all that, because I won't be able to sew all the pieces while I'm here because it takes a long time. So I'm going to lay her aside, and I did want to show you also these books. This one, of course, is one I had that kind of had, it's not the same pattern, but it's a similar pattern to the one I used on this doll. So I can kind of show you. Now see, they have tied around where the elbows are. If I had done the and the knees also. If I had done the elbows, I would not have tied them like this. I would put real, you know, like not real, but, you know, elbows, actual elbows in there. I did, and this doll, she doesn't really have boobs. So they just made it look like she did with the fabric, but mine actually does. They're not big, but she has them. And but yeah, it's a very similar pattern, but my face did not turn out that nice. So anyway, there's that doll. This is a very good magazine. I've had it since 2000. This is an amazing book right here. It's Anatomy of a Doll by Susanna Oroyan. Oroyan, I think is how you say her name, or it could be Oroyan. It's Oryan. I don't know the correct pronunciation, but this is a great book if you like making dolls. She shows some really cool dolls in here. and costuming, and she shows all the steps. For instance, here are these simple little dolls here, scrap dolls, she calls them. Here is an amazing doll. Look at that. And there's a lot of nice artists in here that she's shown their work. So, but the good thing about this doll is she shows how to do all different kinds of things. Like, for instance, elemental forms, corn husk, tied grasses. And she shows how dolls have changed over the centuries. A shaped stone, you know. And she sort of shows how to take those forms and make them more modern for today. And like I said, a lot of these are other artists. And then so she'll show it on this side. And then over here, she'll show how to do the different things, real simple little things like this. So it's a really good primer for all kinds of dolls. All different shapes. Look at these little ladies. They're funny. And she shows, you know, how even something as simple as this form, that's really interesting. You know, it makes you feel the power of somebody or whatever. And it's just a matter of how the arms are shaped and different things like that. So she shows different ways to make dolls. Also, she starts like here, the basic rag doll. She shows you a pattern. She shows you how you can use it like this, or you can cut the pattern apart and make different body parts so that the doll moves more. She gives you lots of variations on how to do that. Different ways to sew legs and arms on and things like that. She shows you different ways to attach heads, make it more dimensional. She shows you how to create the head so that it has more dimension. You can still sculpt it, but if you start out with the nose poking out, it's a lot easier than if you try to pull a nose out. So this is really a good book. She shows all different kinds. She shows different materials that can be used, different techniques in a very simple way, and it's very easy to understand. She shows how to make eyes, needle sculpting, which is basically what I've done on this doll's face, is needle sculpting. She gives different techniques for that. So I highly recommend this book. You know, I did not look it up to see if it's still available. When was this from? 1997. So you might still be able to find it. I did not look that up. There's another pressed cloth type. It's very thorough. These are all needle sculpted using similar fabrics. This woman, Lisa Lichtenfels, she is amazing, absolutely amazing. They look so real. They look so real. It's just flabbergasting, really. So anyway, there's all kinds of things in here, and it's a nice size book. It's very thorough. It shows a lot of examples. Has patterns. Look at that. And you probably can't tell, but this almost looks like a burlap fabric that's been applied over a sculpted form to look like skin. It's amazing. If you want your dolls to have movable, like movable fingers, for instance, here. She shows how to make those, what to do with those, how to do it. She talks about feet. Very, very good. So, okay. Look at that. That's a doll. So anyway, that is one of my favorite books. I have several other books on making dolls because, like I said, I've been doing it for a long time. So I'm going to start on here and start another one. And like I said, this is a fabric that's used to make leotards, or even it's almost like heavy tights. So it's very stretchy. Let's see if I can find an end that's already cut. Here we go. They used to have fabric, doll fabric, and you could get it in different colors, like a darker skin color and this color, like the Cabbage Patch dolls were made out of. It used to be real easy to find. It's a little harder to find now, but this is a much finer knit. It's a knit fabric. It's a much finer knit fabric. So you hardly even see the weave or whatever, the knit or whatever you want to call it, of the fabric. It's nice and smooth. And it's different colors. You can see right here. One side is a little darker than the other side. And I'm going to use the darker side as the front. I mean, as the facing what you see. So I cut my doll patterns out of, it's like Pellin or something like that. And they last for a long time. This kind of pattern, because the seams are going to be real narrow to turn easily, you actually draw the pattern on and you sew it while it's still in a bigger piece, and then you trim it. So it's pretty easy just to, and I've got this folded backwards because I don't want my line to show. So let me flip it. So I'm cutting right sides together. Come on, Deb, get with it here. Here's what we're going to do, because I'm tired already messing with this. Let's see. I have not purchased anything to make this doll. Everything I already had is what I've been using. I've just gone in my fabric stash and wasn't even sure what I had. I didn't realize I even still had this fabric. So I was happy when I found it, because then I wasn't sure what I was going to use at first. But this would have been my choice, so I was happy to find it. Okay, now right sides together. There we go. That's better. Okay. Hi, Gypsy. How you doing? Nice to see you. And I'm just going to lightly, I usually use a pencil, but a pencil doesn't work well on this stretchy fabric. So I'm just going to, lightly draw around it with my pen because I don't want it to show through. And this is just a regular ballpoint pen. You kind of have to hold close to the edge of where you're drawing so that it doesn't wrinkle up as you go, bunch up. I'm doing pretty good. It's been pretty hectic around here, and our internet service has been real goofy. But so I haven't been on here very much. But we're getting new service tomorrow, so hopefully that's going to change the whole thing. So, but I thought I'd try getting on today. It seems to be working so far. What have you been doing? So I'm just lightly going around. I just need an indication of where the line is so I know where to sew. And this is the sew line. Most patterns include a seam allowance. This one does not. This is the sew line where I'm drawing right now because of the way I'm going to be sewing it. I don't need to make the seam allowance because I'm stitching right on this line, and the seam allowance will be trimmed off later. So two of the body. This is the body. And here she is. Here's her body. See? And I didn't leave enough space for that. I'll do that on this other piece. So I need, and I can't put these right together because I have to have enough for seam allowance between them. So since this stretches the same both ways, I can put this either way, any way I want. So I'm going to put it, I guess I'll do the legs first. Fit my legs on here. So I have to do 4 legs, front and back. Each leg takes 2 pieces. You could use chalk or whatever you like to use, but the pen works pretty good on here. I'm really looking forward to be a part of Mary's Hop on the 13th. It'll be my first time. Kind of excited. As long as all the internet stuff is straightened out, I'll be doing all right. I'm kind of thinking I might leave the face on the doll that's on there now because I'm going to be making another doll. And it looks okay. It's just not exactly the way I had pictured in my mind. Now, if I weren't making another doll, then I might be more tempted to change out the face. But I'm still kind of thinking about it. I think she's going to have short, curly hair. That's what I'm thinking anyway. Oh, and I also need to make some ears. I want her to have pointy ears. So, and I thought about putting ear jewelry on her ears. We'll see. You will see. I want her to look like an elf, you know, but be steampunk too. So. Okay, there's the 2 sets of legs. Let's see if I can fit these arms in here. Maybe. Yeah, that'll be fine. Been so long since I've made any dolls. I used to make a lot of dolls. The year that the Cabbage Patch dolls were, now we're talking back in the 80s or 90s, whenever it was, the year that they were so hard to find, nobody could get them at Christmas. I ended up making, I think it was like 70 dolls, and they were like 2 feet tall, I think, 2.5 feet tall, and made similar, you know, with the soft sculptured face, body, and little butt and everything, you know, like the Cabbage Patch dolls were. But they had soft sculpture faces. And people ordered them, and they could choose, you know, what they wanted them to wear, what colors they wanted, what kind of hair, what skin color. They were all customized. And it took about 8 hours to make one doll, start to finish, except for the clothes. And I had a friend who made the clothes for me. So she was cranking out doll clothes, and they wore like a size 0 to 3 baby clothes and 0 to 3 shoes. So we bought the shoes, she made the clothes, and I made the dolls. And we sold a lot of them. The day before Christmas, I delivered the last one, and I didn't make another one after that. Because then the Cabbage Patch dolls were available, so no one was desperate, you know. But I made about 70 of them. We had dolls all over the house. I made twin dolls for one lady because she had twins. They turned out real cute. And they had different hairstyles. Some of them had, like, little boys had short curly hair, and little girls had pigtails and all kinds of stuff. I did a couple with the afro hairstyles. They were pretty cute. I don't want to make any more. After that, I was done with making those dolls. So then after that, they came out with the fake Cabbage Patch dolls, where you could buy the heads and make the bodies. So my daughter had several real Cabbage Patch dolls that she got from her grandparents. And then she had a slew of fake ones that I made. So she had plenty of Cabbage Patch dolls. And we made clothes, and oh my goodness, we made so many clothes. One time I made when she was, I don't know, she was about 5, I think. She was in a group of twirlers. She was learning how to twirl batons, you know, and she was the youngest one and the littlest one in the group. We had to make a costume that matched her costume for one of the Cabbage Patch dolls. We made a cheerleader outfit for the school that she went to, you know, so she had all kinds of special stuff. Oh. Then she decided she wanted a cowboy suit, so we made a black satin cowboy suit with white fringe and embroidery on it. Now with my granddaughter, she was the American Doll one. So I was still making doll clothes. I knitted I knitted a ski suit for her doll with a fuzzy jacket and all this kind of stuff, you know. It turned out really cute. Anyway, dolls are fun. One time I decided I wanted to make Santa dolls, like art dolls, not to play with, but, you know, for decoration. And I never did. Never did that. Now I made soft sculpture dolls for playing with that were Santa and Mrs. Claus. I sold those in the 80s. And I made kitchen witches, which were ugly ones. Sat on a spoon that you could hang in your kitchen. They had like calico dresses, so they were kind of country-ish, you know. That was in the 80s. I still make those, but I make them as Halloween witches now with big, tall, pointy hats and sparkly clothes and stuff. They turn out pretty cute. I'm leaving these just rough cut because that's the way I'll be sewing them and then trimming them after they're sewn. So I've got 2 legs, 2 arms, and a body. All right there. Now I'm going to do the head. And I'm going to have to figure out how to do that. Well, where's the rest of my head? Oh, there it is. And this is the pattern I used for the head. Yeah, Raggedy Ann and Andy. I made some of those, but they weren't soft dolls. They were, I don't even know how to explain them. They were dip and drape. Do you remember what dip and drape is? Where you would take this solution and you could dip your fabric in it, and then it was like a starch or something. Or they also had these sheets that you could buy, and you wet it, and then you could shape it, and when it dried, it was hard. And I made those. So I made bookends. So there'd be Raggedy Ann and Andy bookends. But I never really made the actual Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls. For some reason, I don't know why. So anyway, I got to figure out how I'm going to do this face because I don't like the way it worked out this time. I don't like the way this worked. So this is how it goes, like this. And here is supposed to be the tip of the nose. So you can see kind of how that goes. And then this part was the mouth, but there's not a real good area for the chin. And I just think her chin she looks like her face has been smushed in. So, and I think probably it's more her lips that's the problem than her chin. So if she had more of a lip, it might look better. So how do I fix that? That's the question. So I'm going to look in this book and see if there's an answer. Might be an answer. Before I cut that head out. Let's see. See, this little lady, she has more of a chin that sticks out. So does she. Oh, I got to that point. I'm doing something wrong. Something wrong. Well, they've added a chin on here, but this is a different kind of doll. This is like a sculpted, hard sculpted doll that they put fabric over. See? So that won't work. But this is what I want right here, I think. Yeah, I think if I made the chin, see how long that neck is? Look how short this neck is. Not enough there for the chin. So I think if I make that longer and maybe add a little bit for the nose. I don't want her nose to be huge, but I'd like for it to be a little bit bigger. I don't know. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm talking about. There's also something called stiff stuff that you can use, like you can even take doilies and make bowls out of them and stuff like that, you know. But yeah, I did a lot of those dolls, not just the Raggedy Anns, but all kinds of dolls with that stuff. People like them a lot. Yeah, I guess I'm just going to have to play it by ear and see what happens, because there's nothing specific to what my question is. Other than I want that kind. Right, that's the kind that that I made, was using pantyhose. I made a lot of those in the early 80s. They were very popular. All kinds of different dolls. And then the Santas and Mrs. Claus. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna make her chin a little bit bigger. If it's too big, I can always stitch it in. It actually shows some different things I could do, but it's not exactly how I want it to look. So I'm just going to play it by ear. Yep. So find a piece of paper. So if I start with this, because I want it to be this size. Which one? The one on the doll? It's already on the doll? Okay, so I'm going to add to the nose. Might be too big. Let's see. Oh, the last one in the book. I'm just trying to see what I need to change here to make me happy. So I think this will be mouth. And I didn't have a lot of fabric down here, so I'm going to add to the neck so that I have plenty to work with. So if her eyes are here, this would be her nose. There'd be room for her mouth and her chin. Let's see what that does. Because eventually this will all be pulled in, so I have to take into consideration that this fabric doesn't stretch as much as the nylons do. I could add lips. I could actually do that very easily. So I'm just going to go with this, like this. And that will give me room for her chin. I want her to have more of a chin. Because she's an elf, so, I kind of wanted her chin to be a little pointier than that. But we'll see. Okay, I think that'll work. And then I'll need another one of these. It just needs to be not that much longer. Okay, we're gonna try it. Looks a little awkward. See, I could have put ears on it at this point too, but I'm gonna attach the ears. Oops. Good scissors. Don't use the good scissors. Oh, you did? You like it? Great. I'm going to be actually selling some of my stuff on my website. I haven't got anything loaded on there yet, but just things that, I want to do as I go. I've been feeling a little bit too stressed out with trying to get things ready for the market and all that. So, I decided to step back for a while and just take my time. So anything I come up with that I want to sell, I'll just put on there as I go along. Take my time doing it. And I actually have several journals. I haven't had time to make too many journals, so I wanted to get back to doing that and just sort of, do my creative thing So I certainly had fun selling with Keisha, though. Looks like Bob Hope. Look at it. Doesn't it look like Bob Hope? Yeah, that was pretty much it. Hi, Ms. Gigi. Nice to see you. That was pretty much it, Gypsy. I just need some time to, some creative time, not so much output, just doing the same thing over and over. I have to, if I don't do something new, then I get really stale. And I've been spending all my available time creating items for the sale. So I just want to, step back from that a little bit. And I mean, it was great, but sometimes you just got to make different choices on how you use your time. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just kind of stepping back and relaxing and enjoying the process. So there's the front of the head. Here's the back. I have to cut 2 of those. I'm trying not to mark very thickly so it doesn't show, because this is the stitching line. All right, let's get these. No, I hope this one works better than the other one. I'm hoping I'll like it better. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the other one. It's just I don't like it as much. It wasn't what I had in my mind exactly. Excuse me. Excuse me. Now this next part's going to be a little boring probably because I'm going to be stitching. And Miss Gigi, did you see the doll that I'm working on for the hop? Here she is. Her face, I don't like her face as much as I would like to, but it's okay. I really like her eyes. But here she is. She's pretty tall. She's well, let me see, how tall is she? She is almost 23 inches. So she's got long legs and long arms. So I'm starting another one. I still have some stuff to do on that one, but I since I had already worked on it and gotten to that point, I wanted to show a little bit of how it was done. So I'm just going to work on this. So I'm going to stitch the front. This is the front of the face first, and then open and stitch the back of this one, and then open them up and stitch them together on the sides. Oh, thanks, Mrs. Gigi. So I'm doing it all by hand, so yeah, it takes a little time. I was doing it by machine. I didn't like the way the stitches were coming out because, it's sometimes these knits are difficult. And after messing with it for like an hour, I thought, well, why am I worried about this? I can just do this up, I'm downstairs right now. I can just do this upstairs while I'm watching TV or whatever. So that's what I did. It didn't take too long once I got started, but it's not as fast as on the sewing machine if it's working correctly. And I'm just doing back stitches, small stitches. See how little this is. I'll show you. See if I can pull it up some. Okay. because it's stretchy, this stitch helps a little bit in giving it some give, because it's not just a straight running stitch. So it gives it a little bit of give so that when you pull on it, it doesn't just pop open. You can actually make the stitches as tiny as you want. Just depends on what you think it'll take, you know. And I'm probably, I'm doing like maybe, how big is a 1/16 of an inch? Yeah, probably about a 1/16, or no, wait, let's see. 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, 1/16. Yeah, it's probably about a 1/16 of an inch stitch. And then you go back, so, you know, it makes it look like it's a tiny, tiny stitch. And I'm sort of holding it over my finger and keeping it tight, and it just makes it easier to stitch through the stretchy fabric. See? I really do like her, Mrs. Gigi. She's, if I were happier with her face, I would totally love her. But I still like her, even if I'm not as happy with her face. I love her body. I love her clothes. I can't wait to make the hat. She's going to have a top hat with gears and stuff on it. I can't wait to make her wings and her boots. So it's, yeah, there's still a lot to do on her. I won't be done. Probably won't even be done by Friday. But should be well along the way. I have to decide what I'm going to do to show Friday since I'm doing this now. You know, I thought about that too. I thought about doing another one just for Friday, but I don't know. I'm kind of into these right now, so I don't want to stop working on them. And I want to be done with the dolls by the end of the month, so I can start on something new. It was hard to decide how involved I wanted to get with this doll, because you know I could go crazy with the theme, the fairy steampunk fairy. I could go crazy with that theme and get really creative with stuff, but I wasn't sure how far I wanted to go. But I think I've kind of got in my mind how I want it to look, and I was talking earlier about this big rabbit that I have. I thought, boy, she would look cool sitting on that big rabbit, like she was riding him, you know. And then, so then, as the farther I thought about it, I'm thinking, oh yeah, then she'd have to have a saddle and blah blah blah. So, you know, you can go crazy. I don't really have anywhere to put her once she's finished, so I'm not sure. She might end up being a subscriber prize or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to see. Either that or for sale, or I really don't have a spot to keep her. Guess it just depends on how much I like her, huh? I watched a little bit of it, Miss Gigi. I didn't watch the whole thing yet. Ouch. Our internet has been really wonky the past 2 weeks. Excuse me. So we're getting a new service provider tomorrow. Spectrum's coming out and it's going to be cabled, so that's pretty exciting. We're kind of in a rural area, and we've had, for the 4 years we've been here, we've had wireless tower service, you know. And it's better than satellite, but still, with me streaming and everything, I'm really excited to get the cabled stuff. Excuse me. This is exciting to watch, isn't it? You know, so many of the things you do when you're being creative in any way, so many things that you do are very mundane. I'm looking for mint. And you don't have to think a lot about it, you know, like this. All I have to think about is how big I make these stitches. And you can just relax and be calm, and but it's not always fun to watch somebody else doing it. But it's part of it. I find these green fingernails very distracting. I'm not used to green fingernails. I don't know what I was thinking. These are more like a aqua color, I guess. What time are you on, Miss Gigi? Are you in the hop? Aren't you in the hop Friday? Well, you just told me. I don't know what I'm asking. You just said you're doing a mini one. I thought about several different kinds. First, I thought I was going to do a human body with an animal head, and then dress it all up and everything, you know. But then I decided I've been wanting to make one of these for a while, and it would be a good choice. You're on at 8:10. Oh, at night. Okay. Are you in Sweden or the Netherlands or somewhere like that? For Friday? Are you for the Friday hop, right? Mary Atliers? I thought you were on that. I have to use this big old needle because my hands cramp up if I try to use a small one. So I've just been stitching along this line here. Get this where it doesn't. There. Hopefully my streams will be a little bit better as far as resolution and stuff with the new internet. Okay. I tell you, when this it doesn't seem like it takes too long when you're doing little things like this. When I start sewing on those legs, they are so long. It seems like it takes forever. That girl's got some long legs. I have some, I have two doll heads made out of polymer clay somewhere. I haven't looked for them yet. One was intended to be a jack-in-the-box type, or what do you call it? A jester type doll. And I think what I want to do with it, because it's just the shoulders and the head, I think what I want to do with it is make the jester on top of a box, so it's just like not the whole body, but just the upper body. Make that as the top decoration on the box. And I'm pretty sure I have a cigar box that'll work. And then the other head that I have made is like a granny. And I kind of think my thought for her was always to make a what do they call it? A storyteller doll. So to make her, and then give her a little fat body, and have an apron or her dress or whatever with pockets in it, and then have little dolls in the pockets. So like they're sitting around Grammy listening to her story. I'm not sure where I put them. I gotta find them. I usually have them on the shelf with my polymer clay stuff, but since we moved, everything's rearranged differently now, and I'm not sure where I put them. They're around here somewhere. I got a tickle in my throat today. We've had pretty high allergen counts around here the past couple of weeks. I get to the end of this and turn it and show you how it's going to work as it's, after it's turned and how it's shaped. And then that's probably going to be the end for today, because I don't think anybody wants to sit and watch me do this for the next couple hours. And I could actually show the clothing process, but I don't have a camera set up at my sewing machine. And I don't want to drag it over here where it is. Okay, we'll stop right there. And that's the front. And I'm going to check it and see. So now I can go back. I don't have my little scissors. Will these work? Yeah. So now I can go back and trim very close. Come on, light. Very close to where I stitched. That's what I'm going to do. And this fabric doesn't run, so that's helpful. Especially when you have little bitty places to turn, you can trim it close, pretty close. And at this point, I can go ahead and cut the rest of it out, because it's going to be stitched to another piece and it will have to open out anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and add a seam allowance to what, can't even see it, it's so there. I'm going to go ahead and cut a seam allowance from what's already been drawn, but I'm going to leave it not real tiny, so I'll have plenty of room. Okay, so now I've cut it out. That's the front, and I've stitched on this side. So if I turn it out, you can see already the shape of a face. And so all the nooks and crannies will be stitched, or will be stuffed. I'm just kind of checking to make sure all my stitches are good. I didn't leave any gaps, because it's going to be stretched, and it will, if there's a gap, it will show. Well, that looks pretty good. So I've already got a start on the shape of her face. So when I actually stuff it, I'll have that much to start with. And then I could, do my sculpting with the needle and the filling. So that's where I am with that. And I guess that's all for this video, this stream. And I will see you all hopefully on Friday. I'll be on at 5:00 p.m. Central Time. And it's my first hop, so please come by and visit. And I'll be happy to see you there. Gypsy, Mrs. Gigi, thanks for stopping by. Bye-bye.